Hey campers, Camp One Clap is in full swing here on day 8. We're doing our best and straight up thriving out here in the Clapocalypse. Here to join us today at camp are two fabulous speech and debate stars, friend of the podcast, Ella Goodman, and new camp staffer, Addy Goodman. I'm your camp director and host of the One Clap Speech and Debate podcast, Lyle Wiley. We aim to ignite inspiration and courage for everyone listening and help you overcome your fears and confidently bring your vibrant voices to the speech and debate season. Quick reminder, check the One Clap socials for today's social media challenge. There's still lots of awesome engagement out there, and I absolutely love it. Let me tell you about Ella and Addy, who are here to chat about ways to handle anxiety and performance and give us some other nuggets of inspiration and advice. Ella Goodman took part in speech and debate for all 4 years of her high school career. She has competed in public forum, world schools, expository, and informative, which was her main and favorite event. Her passion for speech and debate stems from her belief in its ability to empower young people, providing them with a platform to share their passions and perspectives on a variety of topics. Some accomplishments she is most proud of include being the champion of informative speaking at the National Individual Events Tournament of Champions, placing 14th at NSDA National Tournament in Informative, being a 2-time state champion in Informative, and being a 4-time national qualifier. Addy Goodman competed in her very first year of speech in 2023 to 2024 school year at East High School. She's competed in drama, humor, duo, and poetry, with humor being her main event. Addy loves interpretation events because she believes that you can share an important message through acting. Some accomplishments that Addy is most proud of are winning the Mask 2 tournament, qualifying to nationals, breaking to finals at state, winning Novice of the Year, and breaking to octafinals at nationals. All right, let's jump into my interview with Ella and Addy Goodman. Thank you both for joining me here at the Clapocalypse. Try saying that 3 times really fast.
Yes, we're excited to be here. Yes, Clapocalypse.
Yes, help us survive the Clapocalypse. Yes, to set the tone and to start thinking about fear and being scared. What's your favorite scary story? Like a movie, a book, just a spoken word story? What do you got for me?
You go first, because
Okay.
I'm still thinking.
I don't know Addie's answer, but we both are not really super into scary stuff. We would much rather watch something happy. I used to like, this is kind of mean, but like sometimes when Addie and I would like have sleepovers together, I would like tell scary stories and then she would get really freaked out. Like there was this one, it's really sad. It's more of a sad story than a scary story about like this lady that like lives in the woods by herself and she's like an old lady and like her dog licks her feet every night before she goes to bed. But then one night she like reads in the newspaper about this guy who like escaped from a mental institution and then she like her dog is licking her feet and then she like goes into the bathroom and the dog is dead in the bathtub. Like I remember I told Addie that one time and she could not sleep for like weeks.
That's messed up, Ella. I don't know if I'm going to sleep for weeks.
I was just going to say something like Hocus Pocus.
Okay, well, I had to be creative. I had to think of a good one.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a pretty terrifying story.
Yeah,
Addie, have you recovered? Have you recovered from her telling you that story?
No. Sometimes I actually do still think about it. So.
Are you going to roll with Hocus Pocus, Addie? Is that your answer?
Hocus Pocus? Yeah, I think Hocus Pocus is my answer. It's
not
not very scary, but it's like Halloween scary.
I was scared of Zootopia when I first watched it.
Is that a scary? I don't think.
Well, to me it was scary. Like I don't remember some part. It like jump scared me. I'm just scared of lots of things, so anything can count as a scary story for me.
Okay,
Maybe I'll say.
Keep that in mind. Be careful.
Okay.
Trying to scare you. What were you going to say, Addie? Sorry.
I was trying to think of, I don't know, like my favorite Halloween movie or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many good ones. Except I like happy Halloween movies, not scary.
Yeah.
You don't watch the scary serial killer movies or the the slasher bloody movies. You're not into that stuff.
I felt like really tempted to before though. Like,
oh yeah.
Because it's like you see things. Well, I see things on like social media, and like. That makes me want to watch them and figure out what happens.
You know, like on TikTok when they post like a part of an episode of like some scary show, and then you go on the profile and you like watch the whole episode in segments, how people do it on TikTok. That's probably the most I've watched of a scary movie. But I don't know.
Almost against your will, like you just kind of rabbit hole into
I just
it.
can't
And then you're
stop
like, why
watching.
am I watching this?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to look away sometimes. But yeah. So let's transition from scary stories to the apocalypse. So say there's an actual apocalypse, like hopefully this won't happen. But there's a dystopian universe that we're living in now, this wasteland. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what are your survival chances, both of you? What do you think?
I feel like, okay, what kind of apocalypse is it? Is it like the zombie apocalypse? Like,
I mean, we could roll with the zombie apocalypse. I mean,
okay.
it could also just be like a, low resources, embattled, like wasteland
scary.
kind of apocalypse too, which is similar to the zombie apocalypse, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think you could survive in a situation where...
You can go first.
Yeah.
I think I would.
I agree.
I think that I don't know. I think that I would just have good instincts with that. I don't know. Also, I feel like the Hunger Games, I feel like I'd like...
You'd do good.
Use some tactics from the Hunger Games for sure to maybe survive. So I think my chances of surviving is probably like an 8.
I would give you like a 9.
Okay.
I think Addy would totally survive the apocalypse. I think the hardest thing for her would be like no 10-step skincare routine. But like other than that, I think you could do it, Addy. I think me, no. I'm not making it very far.
I think that you would...
I give myself
maybe you would just like step out. If it was like a zombie apocalypse and you were hiding, you'd just like step out and show yourself.
No, I give myself like a 3. Either
I give you like a 4, I think. I think you're at a 4.
The moral of the story is I think Addy is doing a lot better in the apocalypse than I am.
Gotcha. Are there specific skills that you both bring to the table that would be useful in an apocalyptic situation? I mean, you're both very strong communicators, but what?
I think oh my gosh, when we go to speech tournaments, I am an overpacker. So I would definitely be prepared. I would have like food, flashlights, I don't know what else you need in an apocalypse, but I'd be stocked up. I think I would be good, like planning ahead and bringing what we need.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You would get violent.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I don't think I would. I think I'd find a good hiding spot.
Good hider. Yeah. Can either of you cook?
I can.
Addy's, yeah. I feel like I can cook. If I have a recipe, I'm fine. I can't just like make things like off the top of my head though.
Are you campers?
I need some things. No, I would rather go glamping than camping. I don't like going to the bathroom in the woods. I don't like porta potties.
I love camping. I think it's so fun. I've only been camping like twice in my life, but every single time I've done it, I love it. Reconnecting with nature.
Like I like being outside, but I get too scared to like sleep in a tent. Like you never know what's going to somebody could just walk in the tent. Like I need to lock the door. I need to be safe. I need security like that.
Fair enough. Yes, I'm feeling like Ella's not going to have a good chance of surviving the apocalypse here.
I'm not.
But, you never know. So far, out of most of the folks that I've talked to, speech and debate people in general maybe aren't they maybe don't have the best chance of like doing super well in the apocalypse. Most of us are like, I don't think I have much to bring to the table. I'm really organized and can communicate, but like, yeah.
I still think Addy, she's pretty. I think she's pretty strong. Like she's been working out in the basement. I can hear it from my room. Like I feel like you could beat up some zombies.
Yeah.
I have faith in her. I think she's surviving.
Cool. Well, Addy's probably our best bet so far. So it's good to know. Good to know. So Ella, we've talked about your speech and debate origin a little bit, but I'd like to revisit this question for both you and Addy. What got you into speech and debate, and like how'd you get started it all?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in 8th grade, I remember 8th grade was the 2019-2020 school year for me. So it was like the beginning of COVID, but before we all got sent home from school and stuff, I remember we were signing up for electives, and one of my friends and I, we were like I was like, I want to like take this speech class. I didn't know what speech and debate was. I had no idea, but I was always so scared. I was so scared of like public speaking. I was so shy. But I was like, I need to like push myself. I was like, I'm going to high school. I need to like try new things and be brave and whatever. So I just like signed up for the class. And then, the school year started. We had masks and we had to get our temperature taken, every time we walked into school. But I came in the speech room and I was so scared. And then they started talking about like, oh, this is what speech is. This is how it works. And I decided, I was like, I'm not doing it. This is so scary. Like, it's not happening. But then like, I don't like Viney always says like, do it and you're cool. You just gotta try it, And so, I mean, I came to practices. I like participated in the class and I was so scared. But I mean, I found that I really liked it. I really like to talk about something that I'm like passionate about or that I think is interesting. And I've just stuck with it ever since.
Yeah. That's cool.
What's yours,
That is
Addy?
cool. That's a nice like overcoming fears kind of story too, which we'll be talking about. But yeah. So what about you, Addy? Was this a totally different kind of experience coming into the speech debate universe?
Yeah. I've obviously known about speech ever since 6th grade because Ella was a freshman my 6th grade year. And I just remember she's just always told me like 6th through 8th grade that I just like have to do speech. Like I have to do it. I remember I always told her, I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I just don't think I could do it. I don't think I couldn't handle like driving home really late at night, getting home late from like tournaments. And I remember in 8th grade, I just decided, I was like, okay, I'll just switch it if like when I don't like it next year, because I don't think I'm going to like it. I'll just switch my elective and sign up for it. And I walk in there the first day into my speech class, and it's my first ever class of high school. And I just remember walking in there, and I don't know, I just like, there was just a very like nice energy to it, but it was still very nerve-wracking for me. And I remember like the first day, our friend Solomon just like kind of like talked me through all of the events, and it was really scary. And I remember I always like kind of wanted to do humor. That's always been like something that I've really wanted to do.
I called it. I told her from the beginning. I was like, Addy, you would be so good at this. Like humor is just such an Addy event.
Mm-hmm. And I was like,
I knew it. And
we had to like sign up on a sheet for all the events we wanted to do. And I was like choosing things like PF instead of like humor. I was like choosing all the debates. I personally think I'm more of a speech person, but I was signing up for all the debate events. I was not gonna really like think about humor. And then I was given like, Are You There, God? It's Be Margaret, the script I got this year. And I just kind of started to love doing interp, and it just like became something that I loved. And obviously like doing it with Ella was like so fun this year before she leaves. So that's kind of what made me do it. So like Ella was the one that inspired me.
Okay, Addy was talking about she didn't want to come home super late. I know that people won't be able to see this picture, but oh my gosh, this is a picture of Addy when we got home from our first overnight tournament. She was exhausted. She was so tired. She was like, oh my gosh. She was like, I'm never going on one of these again. It was hilarious.
So Addie's definitely not like not a night owl.
I think I am when I'm at home. Like
she hates the bus.
I hate the bus. It's pretty rough back there sometimes.
And oh my gosh, you know how Sharina and I have our Crocs? Addy has Crocs now too. But I got some Crocs. We always sit by the heater, and I'm always the sacrifice. I'm always the one right on top of the heater. And one of my Crocs is like, smaller than the other one because it's melted on the heater. Like the bus is a struggle.
Yeah, the Crocs don't agree with like the heater. That's like
no.
the one place where it's probably not great to have Crocs is like next to a heat source, like a campfire. Yeah, so the Crocs will live on though. after
through
you're
Addy.
gone, Ella. Yeah,
I'm going to
through
continue
Addy.
on the legacy of
And
this.
Andrew Scholes, he has a pair
Yes.
of Crocs too.
He was
So there's-
styling them since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
He had them since the beginning.
So the Crocs will be repped, even though
Yeah.
Ella's gone and Sharina graduated. So sad. That's a legacy. That's a true legacy to pass on. So what about some good origin stories? Between the two of you, you probably have a lot of events you've competed in. What are some of the events you've competed in?
Oh, you have more. You can go first.
Oh, okay. I've done humor, duo, drama, and poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Xbox.
Oh, and Xbox. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
Which one?
Ella, you've mostly done platform, right? But
yes.
did you branch out a little bit this year? You were talking about maybe doing that.
Well, okay. I was gonna do Congress because this man named Will Ward, I don't know if you know him, he peer pressured me into it. Yeah.
He's good at peer pressure.
Yeah, he was like, do Congress. And I was so scared and I didn't want to, but I planned for the first tournament to do Congress. I was like, I don't want to do Congress. And for months he thought I was doing Congress. So he would print the dockets for me, waste so much paper. And I was so scared to tell him that I quit Congress. I was so scared. When I told him, I was like, Will, don't print these for me anymore. I don't do Congress. He's like, oh, okay. But so I started in Congress, then I went to PF. I competed in PF for one tournament. Patrick Coggin was my partner, so shout out to Patrick. And then I went to Info, and that's what I did for most of my career. I did, though, at Nationals, I did World Schools once, and I've done a lot of expository, which I love expository. So, yeah.
Expository is a really fun, cool event. So
yeah,
it's so
kind of
cool.
wish we had it on the regular circuit. I like these
me
5-minute
too.
events. They're kind of a little bit easier to judge too. I think a little bit more accessible for people. But yeah, we should. Addy, you did pretty well in Expos this year.
Yeah, I made it to. I can't remember. How far did I make it?
I think quarterfinals, right?
Yeah, somewhere like that. But yeah,
so awesome.
It was very cool.
Yeah, and Ella, you did well in your main event this year. So you went all the way to semifinals this year in informative in your senior year.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, I met so many nice people. It was awesome.
So cool.
Well, congratulations to you both on a great season. What are some of the things just something unique you learned either about yourself or the activity this season specifically? What do you think?
I mean, every speech season, I think I've had a lot of growth as a speaker and as a person. But this year, I think I've always been really scared to be proud of myself, But this year, I think I just decided I'm you know what, I'm working hard, and if I'm doing well, I'm putting in the work, I am proud of myself, and it's cool that I'm placing and winning, and that's awesome. And so I think I learned to be proud of myself and know that I deserve my accomplishments because I'm working hard for them. And I think I also learned that I'm I am capable of so much more than I think I am, as long as I just believe in myself. I feel like this is true for anybody. As long as you just believe in yourself, you really can do anything you set your mind to. And I feel that's also something that I realized this season about myself.
That sounds like a really great journey of self-celebration and understanding.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's good. That's good. So do you feel like you did kind of celebrate a little bit more this year than you have in the past, for yourself?
Yeah. Cause I mean, I was always scared I don't know. I don't want to be cocky or bragging or things, but I'm I do also want to be proud of myself, And I think being proud of yourself is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah. But yeah, you are a pretty unassuming, pretty humble person. So that's a kind of a complicated, difficult journey. So it's good that you're going through it now.
Yeah.
and you do deserve a lot of celebration. So that's cool.
Thank you.
What about you, Addy? What about you? Did you learn some stuff about yourself this year?
I think I definitely did. I think I'm a pretty outgoing person usually, but I think I become pretty scared about what the outcome of things is going to be. So I think I am a bit of an overthinker with the way things are going to turn out. And at the start of this year, I was just nervous that I wasn't going to do well, and it just wasn't going to be as fun. But then I kind of just realized it's about like spreading a message that I feel like very passionate about. And I think that I learned that I like to like speak about things I feel very passionate about, and the fact that even when it's really scary, I can do hard things. And
True.
you know, it's like a lot of people feel like scared in speech, obviously, like when they're performing and that kind of stuff. But I think remembering that you can do hard things is very important, because I thought about that a lot this year, especially at like nationals, like with XBAs, like when I kept moving up, like it kind of got like more scary. And like when I made it to octafinals in humor, and I remember I was like by myself in the room, which was very scary. But I think, but what I did before my performances in octafinals was, and like I guess like quarters, was like just reminding myself I can do hard things, and I get to spread my message, which is like kind of what I learned this year.
That's really awesome. And it is like a lovely thing about speech and debate that even though we're very, we're competitive, of course, like it's impossible to pull the competitive stuff out of it. But whether, whatever the results, you still get the opportunity to share what's important to you in a way that's just really incredible. So that's cool. I'm glad you both had some good revelations this year. I want to take a moment for just like a spooky interlude and ask you if you believe in ghosts and the paranormal. What do you think? How do you guys feel about ghosts? Real?
Okay.
Not real?
I think ghosts, I think they are totally real, but I think not in the way that like they're in a lot of movies where they're like evil and out to get people. I think like, okay, this is what I like to think. I like to think that, like when people die, they go, I don't know where they go. They go somewhere like in the sky or something. I don't know. And then when they want just to like come, like see people, like their loved ones, or they just want to go back, I think they can just like come back to down and just like, walk around, like do their own thing. I don't think people can see them, but like, I don't think they're out to get people. I don't think ghosts are like evil coming to haunt you. I think they're there, like, I don't know, just, I was going to say living their lives, but they're dead, so they're not living their lives. But like, I don't know, they're just doing their own thing. Like, just, yeah. And I think that's maybe like when you remember someone that like a loved one that's like passed or something, you're like, you think about something, maybe that's them just like walking around. I don't know. That's what I like to think about ghosts.
It's a lovely idea. I'm not sure how the science of it works out or whatever, but I like it. What about you, Addy? Are you a ghost believer?
Yes, I was obsessed with ghosts in 5th grade. I would go to my school library and like get books about ghosts. So I think that ghosts, I disagree with Ella. I think that they can haunt. Like if you're enemies with someone, you can haunt them as a ghost, in my opinion. I think I agree with Ella about like they can come back from wherever they are. They can come back like as a ghost, and they can either haunt you or like just like her idea, just be with you, not live, but like be with you. But also with the paranormal, no one can convince me that there isn't like something else out there.
Like aliens?
Yeah, our universe is just like, I've watched like a few videos of just like expanding from like our small view of like our solar system, like, and expanding outwards. There's just so much out there that I believe there is definitely other things. It's definitely not just us.
I 1000% believe in aliens. There is no way we're the only things alive in the whole universe. No way.
We've also seen some like things in the sky that are unexplained. So I
think there's spaceships.
Maybe, yeah.
Or whatever they're called.
Alien spaceships, yeah.
Okay, also, I think ghosts can haunt people, but I think people need to give ghosts a break. I don't think they're all out here evil. That's my problem with people and when they think about ghosts. Not all ghosts are bad like that. Anyway, that's what I had to say about that.
Ella's out here fighting for ghosts representation and rights.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, we definitely have been talking about on the Clapocalypse a lot about like horror movies and ghosts and stuff in a way that's maybe a little bit unfair to these poor ghosts that are just trying to live their best unlife now. So I appreciate that, Ella. That's good. Yeah, Addie, I kind of, I mean, I think it's difficult to just slam the door on anything paranormal, right? Like, there's just too much stuff that's
True.
unexplained out there. And so it's like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I think pretty reasonable to think something's going on. So, yeah. So I'm going to shift gears back. You've both already talked a little bit about anxieties and some of the hard things that come with public speaking in general, and just how scary it can be. I mean, Ella's entire origin story is like, I don't want to do this. This is not something I'm at all interested in. I don't know why I'm even trying to do this. But like, I want to talk to you guys about like managing anxieties a little bit, because you've both been able to do it and be very successful, both as like in terms of competition, and then also just in terms of sharing really important perspectives that are important to you, and I think that are important to be shared. So how, like, I've got a big monster 3-part question for you. So, and you can kind of take turns if you want answering this in parts. But how have you experienced anxiety first, and then how does that anxiety like manifest itself like physically and emotionally for you, and then like what are some of the strategies that have worked for you for like managing that anxiety in performance, and also just like social situations and stuff too in speech, because there's a lot of that as well. It's not just
Yeah.
performance, it's also like the whole thing, right? There's a lot of anxiety that comes with all that.
I think I am a very anxious person. I've always been a very anxious person. Like, oh my gosh, I've been to like therapy a few times for like anxiety and stuff. It's hard to deal with for sure. And I think especially when like speech is, it's a really scary thing to do, to just go and talk in front of people. Like, no matter what the event you do is, it's scary. It's a really scary thing. It can be really nerve-wracking because everybody's just going to be like watching you for like however many minutes, like just you talking. And I think, oh my gosh, like in the COVID era, the online season, I did not have to worry about this too much. If I was anxious, I was like jittery, like bouncing my leg or like playing with my hands, like I could just get up and jump around. But when I had to go back in person for speech, that's when I had to like really find a way to like deal with it while sitting in a room without being disruptive. But I think, anxiety, it like manifests itself in me. Like, I mean, when I think I get really anxious, I just like move a lot. It's really hard for me to be still, and then that just gets me more worked up. Also, I think like mentally, I'll just psych myself out. I'll be like, oh, what if I forget my speech? Or what if my boards fall off my stand? Or what if I go up there and like, I don't know. I just like play the what if game with myself. And I just think of like all these awful things that could happen. And then it like, it's just like an endless cycle where you just get more and more nervous. And it's really, really hard to get out of, but it's not impossible, which is good.
Mine, I think it's a bit unhealthy because of the fact that I think that I do get anxiety sometimes, but I don't really like to admit it or to like think about it. I kind of just like push it to the back of my mind, and then it just kind of like starts to build up in like the back of my mind, and then it just becomes really hard for me to like, I don't know, just stay calm, and I don't know. So that's like a way it kind of affects me. And then another way I think it kind of affects me is I feel like I just have to be so good at everything I do right away. Like, I don't know, being a novice this year, it felt like a little bit more difficult for me just because of the fact that I wanted perfection right away. And like, I was kind of telling myself that if I wasn't perfect right away, if I wasn't like placing in like varsity competition right away, like I wasn't doing it right, or like I was bad at what I was doing. And I think that that's kind of the way that the anxiety kind of like built up and just kind of became a lot. But I've obviously found ways to like handle it.
Yeah. Do either of you have like physical manifestations of levels of anxiety and just worry?
Oh my gosh. When I get like sometimes, oh, I remember I would be like sitting in round sometimes and I would just be so scared, like I'm like moving around, like I'm keep shifting in my chair, like I start picking at like my fingers. I'm breathing really like rapid, like shallow breaths, which is not good, not going to calm me down at all. And then, like your heart's beating super fast and it's just like you can't even really think about anything else other than the fact that you're just like really, freaked out. You're really anxious, and it sucks. It really sucks.
Addie, do you have some of those like physical manifestations too?
Yeah, I think a bit. My heart obviously like goes up quite a bit, and then I also I like shiver. It's weird, but like I just start like kind of like shivering. It's weird. I'm not sure why, because it's like obviously with I don't know. I just like it's usually warm where I am, but it's just kind of like I just start shivering. And then also obviously when I'm not in rounds and I kind of am like I guess like by myself, sometimes I cry, and I think that
Yeah.
it is a way that my anxiety like comes out, but it's also kind of a way that I can just like decompress a little bit and just I don't know, feel what I need to feel.
There's lots of crying at speech tournaments,
Yeah.
but I think crying is a totally normal thing. And like our mom always says that crying completes the stress cycle. I don't really know the whole science behind that, but I think it's true. I mean, after you have a good cry, sometimes you just feel better. So I think it's normal to cry. It's okay to cry. And sometimes it's nice.
Yeah, cathartic almost, right? Like just kind of like takes some of that off you.
Yeah.
So I think we've we're even dipping into some solutions, but yeah. So what has helped you both manage your anxiety, your worry, your self doubt, the just the fears that are involved with this universe? What are some of the things that you've done that have helped you?
I think with the what ifs, the catastrophizing, I think you called it, with that, I always, I'm like, oh, I think of like, what if all these bad things happen? What if this happens? But then my mom, she just has all the best solutions for this stuff. But she told me that if I'm like, okay, if you think what if about all the bad things, you also have to think what if about all the good things. You have to be like, okay, what if I go up there and forget my speech? But what if I don't and I do it perfect? And what if my boards fall off my stand? But what if they stay and it's like seamless and I just do everything so perfectly? Like, I think if you're going to, play the what if game in the negative way, you also have to say what if to all the positive things as well. And I think that's something that's helped me a lot, because then I realize like, this is all just like, it's just what if, like none of it has even happened yet. And so if I'm going to, think about all the negative things that happen, I also have to think about, well, what if I just go in this round and like, kill it?
What if it all works out?
Yeah, we're sitting right in front of a mirror in my room right now, and I have a sticky note on there that says, what if it all works out? And I like to, like, if I start getting really freaked out about things and I just think, what if about all the bad things, I just say to myself, I'm like, what if it all works out? I think that has helped me a lot. Kind of on like a similar note to that, I have these mantras that I like to say to myself. Sometimes I like put it as my wallpaper, but I mean, I think mantras are different for everyone. Like, just you can look them up and find ones that work for you. I have a few of them, but I think my favorite one, I like to say, my strong feelings do not control me. And I think that really helps me a lot, because if I'm feeling like super scared about something, like it's okay to feel scared. And I think it's good to admit, like, yes, I am scared, I am anxious, but my strong feelings do not control me. Like, I am more than how I feel right now. And like, I can go in this round and do super well and talk in front of all these people and be scared at the same time. Like, being scared doesn't mean you're going to do poorly. I think those are most of the things I like to do.
Yeah. With me, I like the what if it all works out. I really love that. I think, our mom was really good with that one, with like telling us that, because it has helped. For me personally, mantras don't really help, but there is one mantra that I kind of like. It's I'm more than my accomplishments. And for me, I think that one is really good for me, because I think that sometimes I can get too into the competitive nature of like speech, and it's like I'm more than these accomplishments. Like, I'm more than that. Like, I get to speak about like things I like and like feel passionate about. It's like more than me just like accomplishing something. And then I also really love we have me and Ella got like these noise canceling headphones this speech season. So I really like to like listen to music. I think that it's just kind of nice to just have like a little bit of like quiet and like just listen to music. And then one last thing that I really think helps is just having like people that are always there to support you. So like obviously this year I had Ella, and then I also had another team member, Gavin O'Donnell.
Oh,
He
yes, shout out Gavin.
Yeah. At Night Talk this year, I forgot my speech, my first round of XBAs. And I kind of just went into like a panicked like state. I was crying. Like I just remember Gavin just gave me a hug, and after that he just went to all my rounds with me, and he was just such a supportive team member and like teammate. So I think finding people on your team that like you guys can be there for each other and support each other through like anxious feelings and times is really, really helpful.
Okay, Addie talking just made me think of a few other ones. She was talking about like listening to music. I love to just sit and listen to music, and I think there's so many people at speech tournaments, so sometimes it's like you need to just be by yourself for a second, and I think that's totally okay to just go like sit in like a hallway or like just walk around. I really like to walk around at speech tournaments. I usually would make Addie come with me, drag her in the hallway with me. But I think, sometimes if you just like feel really fidgety, it's good to move. Just get up and move a little bit.
But that also, I feel like it's okay to like need to just like you said, be by yourself for like, and obviously it doesn't need to be anything personal towards anyone else. You are allowed to go like be by yourself and like take time to just calm yourself down and just make sure that you're okay, because at speech tournaments you should be a priority for yourself, and if you need to prioritize taking a moment, I think that's completely okay.
Totally. And then, okay, I think I have one more thing. We have all sorts of things we do. But another thing thank you. But another thing I like, it's kind of like the what if it all works out thing, but another one from our mom, she's amazing. She always tells me like, if I start getting really worried about things, then just like picture like the round or the tournament or whatever going exactly like I want it to. Like just picture myself going up there in the round and like doing my speech perfect, or like picture myself like at awards going up there and like winning, or like just like picturing like what you want for yourself, I think can be really helpful. If like you're a person that likes like believes in manifestation or likes to do things like that, I think that's kind of a cool way to like put that in your brain. But also I think it's good to just like picture yourself like accomplishing these things, because then it makes it seem more possible, and it's just something that I think has helped me a lot.
Yeah, I think we call that like positive visualization, right, or something like that. Yeah. It's also interesting that folks that struggle with like what if-isms like immediately always go to the negative outcomes. But yeah, I love that thought that it's like, well, if you're going to go through all the possibilities, then you may as well go through the ones that are the good ones too.
Yeah.
There's lots of outcomes that could be in between the good and the bad, which is like life.
Totally.
And one of the things that in therapy they'll do is they'll just be like, okay, so like think about if the worst possible outcome does happen, then what happens? Like think about the steps that happen after that, and they're generally not that bad. Like things that are big failures that we consider big failures are, once you get space and time between them, they're not a big deal. Almost nothing is. I mean, we can overcome almost anything. So
yeah. That's just, okay, you saying that reminded me of another thing that we do. I mean, like, if Addie comes to me and she's, like, really scared, or, like, if I come to Addie, like, we just ask each other, we're like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? Really, the worst thing that can happen at a speech tournament is that, like, I mean, I don't even know. Like, you're going to live is the moral of the story. Like, no matter what happens, like, you can think of, like, all these what ifs, but, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know, like you get too scared and you don't do it, and that's okay. Like you're still there. It's like, I think that's good to remind yourself, like, really, what's the worst thing that can happen in this scenario? Like, do I need to be this, like, worried about it? And obviously it's normal and it's okay to be worried, but I think sometimes it's good to remind yourself that, like, really this is the worst thing that can happen, and that in the grand scheme of things is not even that bad. Like, I'm going to be alive after this. The speech tournament isn't going to kill me, even though
Yeah.
it may feel like it.
Yeah, I'm sure it does sometimes. Do either of you practice? Like music is sort of a physiological thing that you can do to like go somewhere by yourself or even go for a walk. You're like moving, like movement's good. But do either of you practice like breathing, like deep breathing
Oh my
or anything
gosh,
like that
totally.
too? Because that can, sometimes you literally just need to get oxygen to your brain so
Yeah.
that you can like you can do what it is you need to do. And I don't think people sometimes realize just how important breathing is.
I think one thing, Viney, our coach, he talks about like the box method, like where you breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, hold it for 4, and you can just do it. What I like to do is I like to breathe in, hold it, and then I like to exhale longer than I inhale. I don't know what it is about that, but I think that's really helpful to just exhale for longer. Addie does not like that one, but I think it's helpful.
I think I think I should work on my breathing for sure at speech like tournaments and just before I compete. Cause I think sometimes I do forget to breathe, and then I think that like makes me a bit more like my heart a little bit more like pumping like faster. So I think it's good to work on breathing because I forget to do it a lot.
Just like ground yourself kind of, and I feel like breathing really just brings you back to like the present moment and can take you out of like all those negative thoughts a little bit, like calm you down, get oxygen to your brain, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that there are some positive? I mean, I guess I'm a little biased here. I think that, and you two have both mentioned like doing that. You can do hard things, and that hard things are like worth doing. But are some positive things about like our performance and speaking fears and anxieties?
We were just talking to Andrew Scholes, I think it was last night actually, and he's like, I love being scared at speech because it helps me perform better. He always talks about how he uses, and Addie told me this like at nationals too. I was like, oh, I'm scared. She's like, just use it to like fuel your performance, like, I mean, I feel like there's good and bad things about, every scenario, but like, I feel like you can use your anxiety, like, because usually it gets you pretty like hyper, like pumped up. You can use that to go in your round and like be super energetic, like use it to kind of like fuel yourself. I think that's one thing that can be a positive of that situation. What do you think?
Yeah. Andrew does talk about that a lot, and I think that Andrew was kind of the one that like introduced that to me a little bit because he's like my duo partner. So obviously we would get anxious before we'd perform together. And I do remember sometimes. I think we've talked about it a few times about just like we're gonna use this to just fuel the way that we're gonna perform and like just like let it like push us further rather than holding us back from like reaching like the potential or like the best performance that we want to like get.
I think another person that's a really good example of that is Ganesa, who is Sharina's sister. And I loved having rounds with them because they would always be like nervous and I would always be nervous, but then we would just like kind of make each other feel better, but not like calm down. We would just like get each other hyped up, like, yes, we're going to go kill it. And even I just remember no matter how nervous they were, they would always just go and round and be so fun and so energetic, like despite being nervous. And I think that's a really, admirable thing to be able to do.
Are either of you like say procrastinators?
Yes, I think. Yes, you are.
I don't think I am. I think I just get right to it. I don't think you do.
Sometimes,
like you are like so good, but I think that sometimes it takes you a while to just like sit down and just do.
I think why it's hard for me to do things sometimes is because I'm like scared. I'm scared to even try doing something because I'm scared it's not going to turn out the way I want it to, so then I like push it off because I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll know how to do it better tomorrow or something. And I think that's something I'm working on is just like you just got to do it sometimes. And there's always room for improvement. And that's okay. It's normal to not be, perfect at things. That's just part of like being a human in life.
Yeah, that's like kind of like fear of failure kind of stuff, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to do this like just yet because I'm afraid I won't be able to do it well.
Yeah.
I asked that because I mean, I don't know that everyone's a procrastinator, but like if you don't have some level of anxiety or pressure about doing something,
Mm.
it's pretty difficult to get it done. It doesn't necessarily have to be last minute, but I think we have to have some level of pressure
Yeah.
to finish some things. I mean, I don't know. There's
That's a really good
exceptions,
point.
but yeah,
Mhm.
That's true though.
I think it can be
Yeah.
positive. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're both very organized people, so maybe like you're pretty on the ball. I don't know. Let me ask you this. This will give me some insight. Addie, have you planned any of your pieces for next year?
Yes, I
So
have.
this
She's
is a
on
pretty
it.
good insight. Yeah, exactly. Which is good. That's great, but that's
Yeah.
like not where a lot of folks are right now. Just, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Our team is already looking for pieces for everyone to do, topics. Yeah.
Oh, I have
It's exciting.
oh my gosh, I have this giant list in my phone of info topics. And these two, they were novices on our team this year, Deanna and Mikkel. I peer pressured them. I was kind of like, Will, I made them do info, but I have this, at the end of the year, I sent them my whole list of topics. And I know that they're already planning what their infos are going to be about next year. And I'm so excited. They're using some of the things from my list. I've been wanting people to do speeches about these things forever. I'm just so excited to see what everybody does next year, especially Addie. I know she's going to kill it. She's awesome.
So this is segueing right into what I want to chat about is like what you're looking forward to for next year and what's happening for you, Ella. I know that, you know, graduating and moving on. So yeah, what's next year looking like for both of you? What are you excited about, Addie? What's happening with you, Ella?
I'm so excited. I'm gonna do a few more events next year that I want to do now. I'm also excited for like new people to come in to our team. That's like really exciting because I don't know. I think I haven't got to like see people experience what I did this year. So I'm excited to like see people experience kind of just being new to speech, and I can't wait to help anyone that needs it or like to just like be there for anyone that needs it. And then I'm also excited just to like do speech again. That's like just very exciting for me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I graduated, which is crazy to think about, but I'm going to University of Wyoming in the fall. I have to move in like less than a month, which is crazy to think about. But I'm going to be an English major. I have right now what I want to do. I really want to double major. I just don't know what. I'm interested in lots of things. I'm definitely more of a humanities person though. I'm not a woman in STEM, which is okay. But I think I want to, do my undergrad stuff, and then I want to go to grad school and get a master's in library science and be a librarian. I think libraries are just the coolest places ever. But I'm so excited to go to college next year. I'm so excited to meet new people and take all these super cool classes. Like, oh my gosh, I was registering for classes. I just want to take so many of them. They all just look so like fun and interesting, and I'm just so excited to like have new experiences. Obviously, it's like nerve-wracking, but I'm mostly just super excited. And obviously, I'm so sad to leave Addie. It makes me want to cry.
That's like what I'm least excited about.
Me too. I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate not living
really
in the
sad.
same house.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be that far away. So I'm excited to call her, come back sometimes and see how she's doing. And I'm so proud of her already.
It's exciting. You'll be close enough that you can be there if she ever needs you, or
Yeah.
But you will. You know, you also get the opportunity to do your own thing too, which is important. It'll be fun. You're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
I want to close out this portion of the interview by talking about how public speaking is just like terrifying to people. I mean, folks outside of speech and debate, like all the time, if I say that I'm a speech and debate coach, they're like, "Oh, I can't speak in front of people." I mean, folks are literally terrified of speaking in front of people. So, you know, and like weirdly, a lot of speech and debate people are pretty introverted and like not super outgoing. Like they're not always like into the idea of speaking in front of people. But so like, how does this work? Why Is participating in speech and debate worth all of the horror, the terror, the fear? What do you guys think?
I think, okay, you saying that just reminded me. I remember the very first thing Viney said when I walked into the speech room when I was a freshman. He was like, oh, yeah, public speaking is the number one fear in the United States. Death is second. And I was like, what? Like, people would rather die than go speak in front of people. So it's like, why would you do it? But I think it's different for everyone. It's different across events. But I think for me and like info, especially, it's like something I get to write myself. It's my own words. And I just get to go and inform people about something I think is super cool or I'm like passionate about, I think is important. Like, and I think that's why it's so rewarding. Like, no matter how scary it is at the end of the day, like, I mean, these people are forced to listen to me for 10 minutes talk about something that I think they need to learn about, and I think that is such a cool opportunity, especially for like high schoolers. I don't think there's any other activity really that like gives young people this like kind of platform, to speak their minds. And I think it's important to listen to young people and what they have to say. And that's why I think it's really rewarding.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think that it's really cool that like, I think it's also cool that like teenagers get to show that they care about something.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we live in like a world where like obviously like social media and like phones are very like big or whatever, and I feel like sometimes that's like all adults like think of our generation as is kind of like a lot of like social media and that kind of stuff. But I think it's really neat to show that we care about something other than that. And then also with like, for me, obviously, like Ella said, it's different with everyone, but my favorite event is humor. And I love making people laugh, but I also love that you can like be impactful and share something that you like genuinely care about while being funny. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that's so cool. And like obviously there's not a lot of, well, there's like not many events out there like humor with like being funny, but like having a serious point as well with why you're performing something funny and like it meaning something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's some great stuff. Yeah, thank you both for helping us navigate the clapocalypse here at Camp One Clap 2. It's been lovely to talk to you both, and hopefully I'll have you both back. Ella, good luck to you in the future, and Addy, can't wait to see what you do in speech. It was so lovely to have Ella and Addy here at Camp One Clap. Thank you both for your insights and valuable advice. What's going down at camp tomorrow? 3 Bighorn speech superstars, Lindsay Walker, Lizzie Arcaris, and Lydia Marhoff, drop by for an interview to share their thoughts on facing fears and competition. Remember, social media challenges are live for every day that we have camp this August. We'll see you tomorrow, campers. Oh, I keep trying, but I can never spell the word Armageddon. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. For Camp One Clap, this is Camp Director Wiley, signing off.